Hello. Hello, quick little lesson here. I'm going to go through how I would learn a Tigran Hamasyan rhythmic pattern using Konnakol. My Konnakol teacher is Asaf Circus, by the way, who's a great drummer and a bit of a Konnakol guru here over in the UK. And I'll try and relate to you as best as I can what he would probably tell me if I was trying to do this. So the first thing is you have to understand the tala. I'm going to use aditalam, which is the standard 8-count Indian tala. Tala is basically analogous to meter or time signature. It's a beat cycle basically. So this is the closest thing in Carnatic music to 4/4, and it goes like this. It's actually a 2-bar pattern or 8 count. It goes clap, little finger, third finger, second finger, clap, and then what we call a wave, which is backhand, clap, backhand. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and you want it to be quite tight and crisp. You don't want to see too much of this kind of stuff going on. Keep it tight, but not heavy, not hard. You know, you're not really aiming to make a big sound when you're clapping, for instance. Okay. So the next step is to take this basic subdivision, which in this case is 16th notes. So it goes, which we're going to do with the syllable takadimi, 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 ta. Okay. So it gives you the basic sort of grid, so to speak, which you're going to use to understand this rhythm. Okay, so the next step is we actually have to say the conical syllables, the solkatu, I think that's how you say it. Correction, any of my Sanskrit might not be so hot. So for this we're going to use the sort of rhythmic phrase tadigitatom or tadiginatom for 5, and for 7 we're going to break it up 3/4, which is unusual. That's the Indian way to do it. As I understand it, the Western way is normally to go 4/3. So we're going to go takida, which is 3, takadimi, which is 4. So it goes tadigitatom, tadigitatom, takida, takadimi, tadigitatom, tadigitatom, tadigitatom. Okay, so it's 2 5s, 1 7, 3 5s, and that all sums up to maths brain 32. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take note of where the syllables line up with the aditalam, the clapping. Okay, so I'm just going to do 7, 8, and then in, so we get the subdivision. So it's going to work like this. We're going to go takadimi, takadimi, tadigitatom, tadigitatom, takida, takadimi, tadigatom, tadigita. So I've already made a mistake with the diction. Let's try that again. Tadigitatom, tadigitatom, takida, takadimi, tadigitatom, 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 ta. Now you'll notice that I'm accenting with the pulse, not with the start of each rhythmic grouping. So that's good. That's the first step. We're exploring what we call junction points. So when I did it the first time, I demonstrated very nicely how to do it wrong, because you'll notice that my takita didn't actually line up with the pulse. So we're going to watch out for that. So takita is the accentuation we're going to use now, because that's the junction point between that particular little rhythmic grouping, the 3 rhythmic grouping, and the pulse. So takagitatom, tadigitatom, takita, tadigi. Sorry, got it wrong. Tadigitatom, tadigitatom, takita, takadimi, takadimi. Yeah. Tadigitatom, tadigitatom, tadigitatom. Hang on, that was wrong. Tadigitatom, tadigitatom, takita, takadimi, tadigitatom, 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 takita, takadimi, tadigitatom, tadigitatom, tadigitatom. Okay. Now the next step is to accent the tas. So the beginning of each rhythmic grouping. Tadigitatom, tadigitatom, takita, takadimi, tadigitatom, 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 ta. Now you've got to make sure that you work on the junctions so that you're locked into the grid, appropriately as the track is called. You've got to lock into the grid. Konnakol is very good for grid time, and it's just very good for basic mathematical relationships in rhythm. It's not really about feel so much as it's about locking everything in with the pulse, which is obviously a good first step for anybody wanting to learn a rhythm. And obviously, rhythms can be learnt intuitively as well, and people who are immersed in musical cultures tend to do this. But for analysing any complex rhythm, this is a system that will always sort of work step by step. Okay? Now the next step, which I may or may not be able to do, is to gap. Okay? So, but what I mean by that is we're just basically not going to do all the syllables. So, for instance, for 5, you go da angu, da angu, da angu. Okay? Da angu. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Da angu, da angu. Yeah? For 5, we're going to go da angu, da angu. Now that's a little bit different from how I grouped it before. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And that should be a little bit more intuitive for Western musicians. Anyway, so now here the important thing becomes to understand where the pulse goes in between each little, when it lines up with the pulse and when you have a gap, and where exactly the clap or wave or whatever it is lines up with that. So let's have it go. Da angu da angu da. So da angu da angu da angu da angu da angu da angu da. Yeah. Da angu da angu da angu da angu da angu da angu da. Okay, let me just make sure that's lying in the right place. Da angu da angu da angu da. No, sorry. Da angu da angu da angu da angu da angu da angu da. Da angu 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 da. Da digita tom da digita tom da digita da digita tom da digita tom da digita tom da. And that's how I practice it. Hope that helps. Thanks.